Welcome to The Explainer. So, today, we're diving straight into a fascinating piece of literature that just perfectly captures that intense psychological tug of war between a demanding parent and an imaginative child. We're looking at Robin Klein's brilliant poem, Amanda. Now, what Robin Klein has created here isn't just a poem. It's really a masterful, structural exploration of a young girl's mind under constant, relentless pressure. We're going to break down exactly how this clash between harsh reality and vivid escapism plays out, line by line.
It's a question we've all probably asked ourselves at some point, right? What happens when the pressure of reality becomes too much? Like when the demands of the real world get so incredibly loud that you just have to tune them out. That highly relatable question is the absolute core of this poem. We're going to watch Amanda try to survive her overwhelming environment by retreating into her own mind, which sets up a profound conflict that just builds and builds with every single stanza.
All right, let's get into section 1, the burden of expectations.
To really get inside Amanda's head, we first have to step into her reality. And fair warning, her reality is loud, it is demanding, and honestly, it's incredibly suffocating. Just listen to this barrage of commands. Don't bite your nails. Don't hunch your shoulders. Stop slouching and sit up straight. The delivery here in the source material is brisk, rhythmic, and just incredibly overwhelming. It exactly mimics the nature of the mother's constant scolding. The repetition of her name at the end of every single command isn't affectionate at all. It's practically a verbal jab. It's a rapid-fire criticism focused entirely on her physical appearance and behavior. So the crucial takeaway here is how closely Amanda is being monitored. Slouching, by the way, simply means sitting lazy with your head and shoulders hanging down. Basically, it's a totally natural, relaxed posture for a tired kid. But in Amanda's reality, even her resting posture is a target for criticism. This level of intense micromanagement sets the stage for why she desperately needs an escape.
Which brings us to section 2, Mermaid in Emerald Seas.
Okay, take a deep breath and let's completely shift the tone. We are officially leaving the harsh reality of the living room and entering Amanda's quiet, dreamlike inner world. And we immediately see a really sharp juxtaposition. On one side, you have the real world with the constant loud scolding we just talked about. But on the other side, we have Amanda's inner world. Does she actually listen to her mother? Of course not. She completely ignores her and instead imagines life as a mermaid in a beautiful, green, precious stone-like sea. She takes all the chaotic noise of her mother and just replaces it with the absolute quiet of underwater isolation.
To truly grasp what Amanda is feeling here, we've got to look at this word languid. It simply means relaxed. But in the context of this poem, it is everything her real life is not. Her reality is tense, rigid, and demanding. By imagining a languid sea, she's expressing a desperate desire just to be relaxed, to have zero expectations placed upon her, and to be moved only by the gentle currents of the water, rather than the sharp commands of her mother. Let's just sit with this beautiful quote for a second. There is a languid emerald sea where the sole inhabitant is me, a mermaid drifting blissfully. It completely anchors the emotional core of this stanza. Notice that phrase, sole inhabitant. She doesn't just want to be a mermaid, she wants to be entirely alone. It shows just how much she hates being scolded and how deeply she cherishes the safety of her own thoughts. Moving right along to section 3, the sweetness of silence. But as we know, reality never stays away for long, and bam, we are right back to the rapid-fire interrogations. The energy ramps right back up as this intense ping-pong match escalates. Did you finish your homework? Did you tidy up your room? Did you clean your shoes? It's just this relentless checklist of domestic chores. The mother is constantly demanding productivity and cleanliness. Amanda isn't allowed to just exist, She always has some tasks she is failing to complete perfectly.
And this brilliantly illustrates the profound irony of Amanda's next dream day. Her mother is loudly demanding that she clean everything up, specifically her shoes. But what is Amanda's ultimate fantasy in that exact moment? She imagines taking off her shoes entirely, having bare feet, and making patterns in the soft dust of the street. She literally wants to play in the dirt while being yelled at to clean. It's a direct, silent rebellion against her mother's total obsession with tidiness.
Which leads us to one of the most striking lines in the entire poem. The silence is golden, the freedom is sweet. But context is everything with this one. In this daydream, Amanda doesn't just imagine she's outside playing. She literally imagines herself as an orphan roaming the streets. Let that sink in for a second. She is so desperate for silence, so desperate to be free from her parents' constant nagging, that the life of a homeless orphan seems sweeter to her than her own reality. It's a truly shocking detail that reveals the immense psychological weight of her mother's parenting style.
That takes us to Section 4, Rapunzel's Lonely Tower. Here's where we hit the third clash between mother and daughter, and Amanda takes a classic fairy tale and gives it a highly relatable psychological twist. The mother's voice breaks through again, but this time she's attacking Amanda's physical appearance and demanding submission. Don't eat the chocolate. Remember your acne. Look at me when I'm speaking to you. She brings up acne, a skin condition often triggered by sweets, and basically uses it as a weapon to control what Amanda eats. And when Amanda naturally tunes her out, the mother demands eye contact. She wants total, absolute submission and attention.
So does Amanda actually look at her mother? No way. Instead of making eye contact, she completely dissociates. She retreats to a tranquil or peaceful place. In her mind, she climbs way up into a rare high tower, completely insulated from the yelling happening right in front of her face.
And here's another brilliant layer of irony. Think about how Robin Klein uses the Rapunzel myth here. In the classic storybook, Rapunzel is trapped by a witch and desperately wants to get out, right? She lets her magical golden hair down so a prince can rescue her. But Amanda's version of Rapunzel, she clearly states she will absolutely never let down her bright hair. She doesn't want a prince, she doesn't want a rescue, she wants the tower itself. She wants the isolation so she can stay entirely alone and undisturbed by the chaotic world down below.
Finally, we reach Section 5. Reality always wins.
Now, I gotta warn you, that familiar rhythm we've seen, the scolding, then dreaming, it's about to abruptly break. Here is the mother's final barrage. Stop that sulking at once, Amanda. You're always so moody. Anyone would think that I nagged at you. Notice how the whole tone has shifted here? The mother isn't just correcting posture or assigning chores anymore. She is now attacking Amanda's emotional reaction to the verbal abuse. She accuses Amanda of sulking, which just means showing sadness in her behavior, and labels her as being dangerously moody.
And this is literally the ultimate irony. The mother actually says, anyone would think that I nagged at you. But let's look at the definition of nagging, complaining continuously. The mother is terrified of looking like a bad parent to the outside world, completely and totally blind to the fact that continuous complaining is exactly what she has been doing for the entire poem. She lacks all self-awareness.
Notice how the pattern breaks here? We don't slide into a beautiful daydream this time. There's no stanza of Amanda being a mermaid or an orphan or Rapunzel. The poem just stops cold on the mother's scolding. Why? Because Amanda's inner world has finally been crushed by reality. The mother's attack on her very mood means Amanda can't even safely react or retreat into her own mind anymore. The silence is just gone.
Which leaves us with this final, really provocative thought to take away. Does daydreaming actually help when true freedom is taken away in reality? Robin Klein brilliantly shows us the incredible power of imagination, but also its tragic limits. Escapism can really only protect you for so long when the real world simply refuses to let you breathe. It's a super powerful message that really makes you reevaluate how we communicate with the young minds around us. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.